Welcome, friends. I'm so happy you're here for another episode. Um, this morning we woke up thinking that a snowstorm that went through our area throughout the whole weekend was over, but it's been blowing snow so hard. My camera was not really able to capture it. Also, I think that this morning, maybe like 2 hours ago, it was a lot worse than it is now. But it just feels so freaking cold today. Even though it's really not that cold, it's just like -4 degrees, which I did look up. It's 25 Fahrenheit. Um, so yeah, I'm all bundled up. All of the drapes around the house, like the window curtains, are closed to keep all of the warmth in. I don't know, we're just feeling really cold. This weekend we got 8 inches of snow, which is like 20 centimeters of snow. And it's just like really heavy and wet. Yesterday we broke our backs trying to shovel all that snow. But I've been working on my menacing loon blanket. I've started it. But I realized that the graph that I had created for it is actually a little too much on the small side, and I can double it, and I would still have enough yarn to make it. So that is in a little bit of a pause. I also started my swatch for my pie camisole by Nabita Jarrett, but I'm not super happy with the fabric that I'm getting. So that is also in a little bit of a break. So this morning, with how cold I feel, I just woke up and I just thought mittens. I want mittens. And it's so dumb. I was feeling so cold and so tired this morning. I literally put on socks on my hands to keep them warm. And they're like, maybe you don't need all of the details, but basically, I grabbed some kind of older, thick socks that have holes in them so that I could stick my fingers through the holes and still be able to like use my phone while I was wearing the socks on my hands. That's the extremes that we've reached over here, okay? I've already made fingerless gloves for my husband before. I made him a pair using the Palmistry pattern by Tellybean Knit. I'm gonna put the name up on the screen. They have like 4 versions of the Palmistry pattern. One in fingering weight, one in DK weight, and worsted weight, and bulky. I have made the worsted weight version. And she has this thing where if you've already bought one of the versions, if you buy a second copy of one of the other versions, it's free. So I have this yarn that I bought recently at the yarn garage sale. If you haven't watched that video, I'll link it at the top right corner, where I bought a ball of sock yarn that's Queensland Perth, and it's an 80% Australian superwash and 20% nylon, and it's a fingering weight. It's a sock yarn. And I said in that video that I think that it would be nice to make mittens with. So, yeah. I think today after work, yes, I am taking just a short 15-minute break from work just to check in with you guys. Um I think I'm going to cast on mittens. I haven't had like chaotic cast on energy for quite a long time, and by a long time, I mean a few weeks. So today I'm gonna just cast on mittens. That's what I'm gonna do. Hi, friends. It is the next day, and I'm feeling really good today. I don't know what it is about today. I feel good. I feel happy. I feel accomplished. So I figured we might even have a knit and chat, maybe. I've never done a knit and chat, so I'm worried that my ramblings will make no sense or will not interest anyone, but I'm gonna give it a try. This video is a little bit of a throwaway video. I have made a throwaway video in the past, and I did use it. It was actually the yarn garage sale video. But then I don't remember what happened. It doesn't matter. I wasn't able to release the video that I wanted to for that release day. So I released that one instead. Somehow it's ended up being one of my most watched videos, which is not a lot. It's just like a little over 200 views. That video was not really planned out at all, and it did pretty well by my standards. Yeah, all that to say, this is a throwaway video, so if I ramble on and this video never sees the light of day, then does it matter? Probably not. Just in case I absolutely decide that I need to stop saying the word absolutely, okay? It's a freaking crutch. Let's work on my vocabulary a little bit, okay? Just in case I cannot stand to listen to the sound of my voice, I'm going to just record me talking about my mittens so that I can cut out the rambling if I have to. Alright, so this is how I'm doing so far. This is the very first mitten. I don't know if there could be an easier mitten pattern than this. Granted, this is the only mitten pattern that I've ever followed, but it is just so easy, so simple. They come out so nice. This is the yarn that I'm using, Queensland's Perth. I didn't mention the colorway yesterday. It's called Swan Hill. It was originally $14. I got it for $6 or $7 at the yarn garage sale. And look at those colors. I love green, especially the outer dark green color. It looks so beautiful. I really like the variety of colors that are in this because you might not be able to tell. There's some browns in here as well. So that's how that's going. Let's get on with the chatting. I was trying to decide what to talk about today. And I think I want to talk about astrology because I am super into astrology, and about YouTube. And what my experience has been like as a newer YouTube channel. I think because it's only been a few days ever since I released my last video on March the 25th. Hold up, I need to work an increase here. I was very excited to release that video. That was my vlog, or I've decided to call it my PPOV, which is my project point of view, on me making my Funfetti Raglan sweater by Andrew. I love the sweater, but it's only gotten like 30 views. I just don't understand how some people start their YouTube channel. Immediately, it feels like the algorithm gods decided to look their way and bless them, and they'll already have like at least a few hundred subscribers after just like 5 videos, and they'll get like hundreds of views or even thousands of views. I've got to believe that there's something about me that makes that happen, and it's not just the YouTube algorithm, right? Because I suppose if this sounds very depressing, I'm so sorry. I suppose that if I was the type of person that would make other people feel engaged then there would be a more engagement. And then YouTube would realize that people are enjoying my videos and would show them to more people that might also enjoy them. I know that what I put out to the world has value. That is not what I'm concerned about. I at least have like a certain level of self-esteem where instead of feeling completely beaten down by it, I try to think, okay, how can I be better next time? How can I continue improving? How can I put something together that's going to awaken in other people a feeling of excitement and interest? This has always been an issue. Like, this has been an issue my entire life, okay? I am not, if you have already not noticed, I am not a person who is naturally popular. And when I was growing up, I thought that maybe it had something to do with the fact that my family moved a lot when I was younger, like whole ass countries moving. When I was very, very young, we finally stopped moving when I was 6 years old, almost 7. And I was put into a school where my graduating class was a little under 100 people, which is a very average graduating class for the place I grew up in. My graduating class broke the record. Up until that point, I don't know anymore. It's been 15 years. Almost. We broke the record of most people who had been in the school ever since kindergarten. I came in as a child into what already felt like an insular, closed, cliquey place, right? Hold up, we gotta have a kitty break. I wonder if you can hear her purring. Growing up, I felt like an outsider, and I thought that it was because of just the fact that I had come into this world that felt very insular and not willing to accept newcomers, right? And if I'm sniffly, I swear to God, it's not because this is making me emotional at all. I'm just, I don't know, maybe fluff or whatever. So, I came into the school not speaking the language. My knowledge of the language was very limited. I grew up in a bilingual environment, but I can't even like describe what kind of mess I must have had in my head as a toddler, because we kept moving back and forth between countries that spoke English and Spanish. When I got into kindergarten, at that point we were living at an English speaking country, which it also felt like a very non-welcoming place for newcomers. And it's crazy that me as a kindergartner was able to perceive how little they were interested in accepting any newcomers. That's how I interpreted it anyway. And so by that point, I did kindergarten and first grade in this English speaking country. I spoke English proper. But at home, we only spoke Spanish. And I guess I spoke Spanish With my family, I mean, I can only imagine I spoke Spanish with my family because we would not, why would we speak English in at home? I actually started talking at a very late age. I started talking at 3 years old. And ever since then, as an adult, I've found studies that show that yes, that children who grow up in bilingual environments do tend to start talking at a later age, which has led to this false belief that being bilingual is detrimental for children. But that is not the case, obviously. It just takes longer to figure out, okay, this is the structure in which you speak language A, and this is the structure in which you speak language B. And they are probably not going to be the same, and you need to reach a level to immediately know what structure is which. Because English and Spanish are definitely not similar in the way that you structure sentences. Maybe if it was Spanish and Portuguese, maybe it would be different because Spanish and Portuguese are so similar to each other. But even if it was like English and German, the structure of German is quite different. In first grade, well, first of all, I start kindergarten in an English speaking country. I am made to feel an outsider. Then I had to redo first grade because we moved away halfway through first grade because of my dad's job. My dad had the amazing opportunity to be relocated for work quite a few times before I was born, after I was born, as a toddler, as you've now heard. So yeah, when he was no longer to be located at the English speaking country and we had to move to a Spanish speaking country, it was in the middle of the school year. The school determined that my level of Spanish was not good enough to just continue on with first grade. I had to redo it, which was probably for the best. I was a little too young for first grade anyway. So then it is first grade. I come into this other place, which also felt non welcoming to newcomers. And I always just thought that it was because of the fact that I was a newcomer. As I've grown older, I've realized that not everyone feels like an outsider just because they're a newcomer. Some people are able to immediately pick up new friends, immediately find things that connect them with others. And I'm just not like that, unfortunately. When I was 21, I found this astrologer. I absolutely love her. My life changed when I found her. The way that she teaches astrology is that, yes, it can be used as a tool for prediction, but she mostly uses it as a tool of self-discovery. And when I found her, I was going through an absolutely, I was going through an super, super, super hard breakup. It was a relationship that had lasted 3 years, which for a 21-year-old is a freaking lifetime. And I shared my entire group of friends with this person. Our friend group basically split apart. When we got together, we surrounded ourselves with the people that were our friends, and then those friends brought in more friends. We were at the core of this new, big, awesome, exciting group of friends. So when we broke up, it was really weird because it's like, well, if you're gonna hang out with one of us, you would hang out with both of us usually. And the breakup just brought up some things that made me feel like an outsider yet again. Like, that was the first and honestly only time that I did not feel like an outsider. So, for that to occur, and for me to start feeling like maybe my friends are not real friends, maybe my friends care more for my ex than they do about me, that was soul crushing. When that breakup was happening and I found this astrologer, my absolute favorite astrologer, I just went down a rabbit hole of trying to understand why I think the way that I think, why do I do the things that I do, why do I feel the way that I feel. One of the things that I just cannot seem to break away from is how I communicate, how I connect with other people. And the issue is that I have Mercury in the 29th degree and 59 minutes of Pisces. I think that it is just hard for other people to maybe follow my train of thought. I think that for a lot of people, I'm assuming, right? Because I'm not in other people's heads. I'm assuming that for other people, it is a lot easier to connect with someone who is able to express themselves in a way that is easy to understand versus someone whose thoughts go faster than the words can come to my mouth. Not only do I have this thing where my thoughts are just going so fast, I can't keep up with it. But I also have this thing where I grew up bilingual, and like, I didn't just grow up bilingual where, yeah, I lived in a country that spoke Spanish and my parents also spoke Spanish, but I went to school and I learned English at school. Or, I grew up in a country that spoke language A and family spoke language A and everyone around me spoke language A, but at 15 or as an adult, I moved to another country that speaks language B, and now I can also speak language B. You know what I'm saying? There was just such a mishmash of information coming at me in different languages. As a child, we're speaking from the time that I was born all the way through 7 years old. I struggle with words. I struggle with expressing myself in a way that other people can understand. And it's not an issue of my accent or my vocabulary or my grammar, the way that I structure my sentences, because if, at this point you've been listening to me talk, I know I don't really have any discernible accent other than someone who lives in the United States, maybe someone who lives in Minnesota and has been living in Minnesota for quite a while. If you hear me speak for the first time, you would not be able to figure out that I am a native Spanish speaker, right? But as soon as you get 2 or 3 or 4 sentences from me, just the way that I say things will come off as unusual. I think that when I was living in the country that I grew up in, people knew that I was not from that country. They knew it because they were my friends. And, if they didn't know that I was not born in that country, they would eventually find out because maybe I wouldn't understand the cultural knowledge references that maybe would be brought up at times. But I was able to blend in very easily, especially once I hit college. I was able to blend in very well. But I moved to Minnesota 10 years ago. October will be 10 years. I need to keep knitting. And here it's been absolutely impossible. The Minnesota ice, if you don't know what it is, it's a concept where people here are not really interested. Oh shit, I was not supposed to increase. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of Minnesota and how hard it is to make friends here, okay? That is a whole other topic. Yeah, I struggled very much with finding a community ever since I moved to Minnesota. And I don't have any friends, which sounds very depressing, but I promise you guys I'm fine. One of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel is because I wanted to make friends. Even if it's just online friends, I don't care. I have a pet peeve when I'm watching knitting YouTube and people are saying, like, oh, I met up with my yarny friends or I met up with my fiber friends. Bitch, those are your friends. They're just your friends. Just say friends. I just wanted to make some friends. I just wanted to make connections with people that share the same interests as I do, that people with whom I can, probably just bounce off ideas off of. Sorry, that sentence didn't make a lot of sense. My tension sucks. Oh my god. If only you guys could see how ugly this is looking ever since I started knitting and chatting. But yeah, just people with whom I can communicate, send a quick message with. I'm not looking to make best friends, okay? That is absolutely unrealistic. And that has not been super successful. There are definitely a few people that I have had the pleasure of talking with, just here and there, some comments. And yeah, and I absolutely love that. That is exactly what I wanted this whole time. But I wonder what it is, if there is anything that I can do to reach even more people. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be anything other than true to myself. I don't want to do the easy thing, which is doing clickbaity video titles or jumping on a freaking trend and just doing what everyone else is doing. That is so boring. I want to do the YouTube videos that I enjoy watching. And the reason why I'm bringing that up as well is because I am very happy about my Funfetti Raglan sweater video. It's not perfect. I never said it is. I almost didn't not get that video out on time because it took me so long to make the freaking sweater. But still, I'm very happy with how the video came out. I think it's engaging. I think it's fun to watch. But it's not getting any engagement. I know that I'm a creative person. I know that the things that I create have value, but if there is a way to make them better, if there is a way to make people enjoy them better and give me some validation that what I'm creating has value, it's not that I want to change myself for views, but how can I display a different side of myself, a side that exists, that might be more easily digestible? Maybe? Maybe that's the right way of describing it. I feel so self-conscious now. I've just realized I've been talking for an hour and all I've talked about is myself. And now I'm feeling self-conscious. Maybe the only way that this might be of use to anyone is if by me talking about myself, it might enable you to think about your own self and question your own experiences and your own feelings. Maybe you feel like an outsider too, or maybe you're at the opposite. Maybe you've never felt like an outsider, which, you know what? Congratulations. And I do not mean that in like passive aggressive way at all. I genuinely mean it. It is so hard. A lot of things are really hard in this world, but feeling like an outsider fucks you up. So I think I got like 5 rows done in an hour, and I talked a whole lot about myself. I have no idea how I'm going to narrow this down into anything digestible. If you're watching this, it means that I figured out a way that might work. So, yeah. Are you also a newer YouTuber? Are you also struggling with low engagement? Are you also struggling with trying to find your place in the world? I don't think I'm struggling to find my place in the world. I think that sounds a little dramatic. I think I am just still trying to learn how to engage with other people. Because the thing is, I'm sorry, I said that I was going to stop talking about myself, and I'm about to go on another tangent. But another layer of this whole thing is that I grew up in a country that was, when I was young, already perceived to be unsafe. And as I got older, it got more and more and more unsafe. There's a reason why I don't live there anymore and I moved away, because it was perceived as unsafe, because my parents had not lived in the place that we then lived. They didn't really have any friends either, or anyone that was an acquaintance that lived around us. Everyone that we knew, like all of our family lived at least 2 hours away, and my other side of the family lived at least 6 hours away. So we had no one near us. I feel like I was not socialized, honestly. Um, uh, Granted, I could have just socialized at school, right? But there's a part of me that feels like the way that you need to socialize dogs, I feel like I was not socialized because we didn't really go out. I lived in an apartment building. The neighbors did not want kids running around in like the stairways and hallways, so they would complain to my parents, and we were technically just forced to stay indoors. And my only outlet was the internet. I'm so thankful that at that point of time, obviously the internet was not what it is today, and that was my only form of connecting with the outside world. Yeah, that's a whole other layer that I've only just like touched the surface right there on why I feel like it is so hard for me to connect with other people and why I never feel like I belong anywhere. I know I belong to my household. I know that I belong in my immediate family circle. But outside of that, I'm a knitter. I don't know if I belong in the knitter community. Maybe I just put too much weight on feeling like a part of a community. Because I've never felt it. I've never felt like I belong in one. And I would like to have that. I mean, I'm not desperate, but it is something that I want. And it is something that in my own way I try to reach, I try to achieve, but I also know that no one likes to be around someone who feels too eager, you know? So I try to not come off as too eager, but maybe I am coming off as too eager. I don't know. And if you have any suggestions and you would want to, leave them down in the comments, and I would love to hear them. So, it is finally time for me to shut up And yeah, keep working on this. And I will see you in a few seconds. Hi friends, we are back to continue chatting and continue knitting on these mittens. It is now April 21st. It did kind of snow this week, but really the forecast of snow happening is really low from now on. But I gotta finish these mittens. Also, this video is gonna be coming out on the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, and I decided that what I actually wanted to post on that day, I don't feel like working on. So instead, I'm just gonna release this video. It's been maybe 3 weeks. It hasn't been quite a month since we talked last time. And I've had some time to really think about the things that I talked about, just do some more thinking, because I do a lot of thinking, I guess. I am down to the thumb of the second mitten. The first one is over here. Let me not disturb the kitty, if I can. First mitten is here. And I'm just down to the thumb on this one, so we're almost done. Okay, hold up. Kitty needs to be comfortable. Look at her, she's so sweet. Yeah, you're so sweet. Wow, aren't you the cutest? Yeah, you are. You're so sweet. I'm so lucky. I'm a really lucky person. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Was I know I went on and on about like how I don't have any freaking friends and how that's been like an issue my entire life. But basically what I've been thinking about ever since I said all that is no one has everything in this world, Even if the whole like friendship and community situation has been a sore topic for me, I am a really lucky person. I have a really good marriage. I have really good family. I married into such a loving family that I feel so close to. I have a great job that pays me well. I have a beautiful home. I live in a place that values the same things that I value. I have a hobby that I get so much out of. What else? I mean, what else could I ask for, What I'm trying to say is I have learned, especially during my early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, during my entire 20s, is things don't come easily for me. Have come to terms with the fact that if I want something, I have to work for it really hard. I met my husband when I was 27 or 28. So yeah, I did a fair amount. And then you heard all about my really bad breakup. Obviously, I looked so hard to find someone who I could like build a life with, and I found him, and he's everything that I wanted and more. And I didn't have like the best family. I didn't have like the best relationship with my parents growing up, but now as an adult, I've been trying actively very hard to like have a good relationship with them. So that's something that I've worked towards. And thankfully, the things that I am struggling with, I can work on them. Oh shit, I just realized I messed up this thumb. Oh fuck. Do I need to undo this? Oh no. If the things that I am dealing with is that I don't have any friends and I messed up the thumb on my mittens, That's the worst thing that can happen to me right now. I'm doing pretty good. You know what? I'm gonna leave the thumb as it is. Obviously, I still need to validate, the feelings that I have. The struggles that I went through as a child are valid. The struggles that I'm going through as an adult now are valid. But they're things that I can fix. I wanna have friends outside of my family. I want to feel a sense of community. Then I'm just gonna keep working towards it. I'm here on YouTube knitting. Like, I have a knitting YouTube channel for a purpose. One is to have an outlet, like a creative outlet. And I'm also here to find a community and just have connections with people. Find other people who share the same interests as I am, and maybe I look like someone that they might want to interact with. So I'm open. As long as you're not a creep. I feel like I need to put that out there. No creeps. Thank you very much. Oops, I'm sorry. So yeah, there we have it, folks. I'm not gonna talk for very much longer because this video is gonna be long as heck. This is just a part of my process. I'm just talking it out. I am the type of person that I need to talk things out in order to, like, I don't know, just get a sense of my thoughts. I usually do it through journaling, but this knitted chat got really deep. Maybe it's something that you relate with, maybe it's not, but maybe, everyone has something that they're not happy with in their life. No one has it all. But if the things that you don't have, maybe you can count with one hand, and the things that you do have, just surpass the things that you don't, then we're doing pretty good. So yeah, if you have any feelings like that, if you're looking for a friend, reach out. Actually, I don't know how people would reach out to me because I'm not using Instagram anymore. Something that I've also struggled. Oh, I didn't think about this one. Another thing that I really struggle with is being chronically online. It's so bad. I cannot have TikTok on my phone because I will spend way too long on TikTok. I've been able to not install it on my phone for a very long time. I feel very proud of that. But then Instagram was also making me feel like really, really down. How hard they're pushing for short form videos was really messing with me. So I don't use Instagram anymore. I almost feel like that is detrimental to me because the knitting and crochet community is so active on Instagram. Like, I almost feel like FOMO a little bit by not being on Instagram as much as I was, but let's be real, most of the time that that I was spending on Instagram was mostly being spent looking at funny, cute videos that had nothing to do with knitting, not as much actually looking at like knitting and crochet stuff. If you're in need of a friend, this is how I'm gonna put it. If you're in need of a friend and you're not a creep, then message me on Ravelry. That way I can check your projects, look at all of the things that you've made, and confirm that you're not a weirdo. But yeah, message me on Ravelry if you want, like, just to reach out, if you're looking for a friend as well. And then we can cheer each other on our projects and cheer each other out when we finish a new sweater and help with picking a color palette for our next garment that we're gonna make. And then if you have like a knitting YouTube channel or anything like that, definitely let me know. I'm always looking for new channels to follow. Anyway, folks, that is what I've got for you today. I hope that if it is helpful for you to hear that other people's also have their struggles, to just remember that no one's got it all down, you know? Everyone's got their demons that they're dealing with, then yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. Maybe it made you think about, okay, what are the things that I don't struggle with? What are the areas of my life that I've got pretty down and I don't have to worry about and they're actually really good? And just make you be all that more appreciative of the good things that are in your life right now, then yeah, I hope that was the case. I'm gonna stop there because this video is gonna be insanely long. I really hope these don't fall out because I stopped in the middle of a row. But yeah, I'll show you in a second how these mittens are gonna come out. I'm not gonna block them, I'm too lazy for that. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. And I hope I didn't scare you into not subscribing or whatever, but I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. And before you leave, we have mittens. The mistake that I did with the thumb was I picked up 2 extra stitches and I was supposed to decrease them, and I forgot to decrease them. So the thumb is a little bit looser than this one, which is done correctly, but it's fine. It feels good. They're really cute. How do you show mittens? There we go.